welcome back to Saturdays at Derek's. I'm Mike.
And I gives no fucks.
Which is douche for I'm Derek. Hi!
Hi, I'm Derek.
So, shit that happened this week. DC pulled the cover of a Batgirl comic because they felt that it was too disturbing. Or it was pulled at the artist's request, possibly, after a bunch of feminists started complaining about the cover, which you can see now. The cover, I don't know, apparently they thought she looked scared and that was bad.
But here's the thing, it's not just a Batgirl cover, it's a Batgirl with Joker cover. And when you're stuck in front of the Joker and he's got a gun, you probably are going to look scared. Whether you're a female or not a female. It's probably one of those situations you don't want to be in. Right,
if you're not an idiot, you've got a healthy respect for the crazy shit the Joker can do. Yeah, well, and there's been a lot of argument back and forth. There's been the argument that, it's an homage back to Alan Moore's The Killing Joke. Mm-hmm. And it is directly, in The Killing Joke, Joker shot Barbara Gordon, and they may have implied that she might have gotten raped, but he did at least strip her naked and take pictures of her. So it was pretty sadistic. But this...
Go back and read.
Well, but this cover is like an homage to The Killing Joke. He's even wearing the same Hawaiian shirt outfit that he was in the comic when he shot her. Now, I don't know. If the guy that had shot and paralyzed me 20 years earlier suddenly showed the fuck up and had a gun, I'd be fucking scared too.
Yeah.
But a lot of the argument is that it's supposed to... They've tried to re-gear Batgirl to be a teenage girl's comic book now. Mm-hmm. And they don't think that they should be exposing teenage girls to that. My problem with the whole thing is you've got two feminist arguments banging heads against each other. Because on one side you've got, the female empowerment. There should be more female comic book characters, and there should be a bigger presence for women in the world of comics. But then we turn around and also bitch and complain when they put out a cover where one of the female comic book characters is in a scary situation and looks scared. It feels like a double standard. It's either they're trying to argue for equality on one hand and then censorship when that equality gets too harsh.
Or, yeah.
And I have a problem with that.
I have a problem with taking things to that level of extremity in any situation. It's another example of America's tendency to whine about stuff. Mm-hmm. And us cowing to it. I understand, okay.
Yeah, bowing to a vocal minority.
Yeah. It's...
He who bitches loud enough wins.
Yeah. It's just... There's... First of all, it was a cool cover.
It was. It was very cool.
And if it's a cover that is cool, isn't graphically intense... It wasn't graphically... It's not like she was laying there with her guts hanging out or anything. She just had a terrified look on her face.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything... And it serves the storyline. There wasn't anything that...
It does. Well, and it's a compelling cover. I see that comic. I want to read it.
There wasn't anything that struck me as bad. He wasn't torturing her at the time or anything. It was just...
Implied sadism?
Yeah, it wasn't...
Because the painted Joker smile on her face, the bugged out look on her eyes, somebody had suggested that, just having the gun pointed at her
But it wasn't even pointed at her. It was pointed downwards with his arm over her shoulder.
You know, personally, I don't see the big problem with it. I mean, I guess if your comic is supposed to be geared toward, you know, younger kids, that could be questionable.
Yeah.
At the same time, when we were 12, man, the fucking Watchmen was big, and that's a very, very graphic
but
comic.
That's something these days they would throw a parental guidance sticker on. It had penises in it.
Yeah, well,
You know,
one.
and breasts. No, it was like...
And there was gore.
I can think of at least 12 panels that had a picture of a big blue dick.
Yeah, I'm saying it was one dick. It was just Dr.
just
Manhattan's
dick,
cock. Nobody else's dick was swinging around in that book. But
you get to see
that's what I mean by
butt,
one.
But other than that,
yeah,
it was just
well,
the one. Just the one. But yeah, and then, you know, a couple of breasts, and there was rape in it.
Yeah, well,
you know,
breasts, rape, you know, there was a lot of gory killing.
Unborn child.
What Rorschach did to the dogs.
Yeah, I mean, that was... Watchmen was an intense comic. And I don't think it was meant for... It definitely wasn't meant for people who were our age when we were reading it, but...
Yeah, but...
I
didn't turn out too fucked up.
Yeah, no. Well, I don't think I actually read it till I was like 16, so...
No.
But...
It's so I mean, I kind of understand the kid thing, you know. On the other hand, to ban that cover completely, I mean, I would.
It wasn't even the main cover. That's the most disturbing part. Is that it was like a chaser cover.
Yeah.
It wasn't even the main cover, so I don't understand. I understand. Okay, you got to cater to your audience,
right?
Your customers. I get that, but once again, it's been taken to such an extreme in this country in the last 10, 15 years, 20 years, that it's quite frankly gotten annoying. It's gotten annoying that companies feel like they've got to get these, like you said, the vocal minority satisfied to a point where you're kind of hurting everybody else.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you're hurting other people. You're restricting artists in their
creativity.
Yeah, I mean, and admittedly, and the artist that drew that cover did ask to pull the thing. It's not like it was done, you know, beyond his wishes. So
I hope they at least print it and sell it in poster form or something.
Yeah, it'd be nice, but there are copies of it on the internet. People see it so they can judge on their own whether or not it should or shouldn't have been. Because I understand some people thinking that it's kind of disturbing, and maybe I'm a little too much into weird, fucked up shit. So it's possible that my perspective is kind of skewed on it. But I don't think it was that bad. You know, it was a great piece of art. It told a story by itself with no dialogue, no backstory. You didn't need to know anything. All you had to see is the picture of this crazy fuck holding a gun on a girl who looked terrified. That tells the story. And that's good art. That it didn't need any explanation beyond its visual medium.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah. I'm just disappointed with this society's need to satisfy people as a whole.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
at least the artist was behind and understood.
Well, and maybe if people that weren't outraged by things would be more vocal in the counter to those people, shit would be a little less skewed. You know, if there were more people in a situation that came up like that, and somebody goes, "This is terrible. Should be taken down and banned and banished." Where are the artists, and where are the more liberal-minded people who are just okay with it, who can stand back, take a little perspective, and go, "It's just a picture. It's just a piece of art. If you're worried about your kids being freaked out about it, go to the comic book store with your kids and watch what they fucking buy.
Out, yeah.
Be a responsible goddamn parent.
Instead of expecting everybody to parent for you.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, people.
Stop taking your kids into department stores and just letting them hang out in the toy department.
Yes, and you know that this is an expert.
Parents.
Yeah, and you know this is an expert opinion because this is coming from two middle-aged white guys that have no kids.
Yes, because we knows better.
I was wise enough not to start in the first fucking place. You need to listen to me.
That shit's saran wraps.
So anyway, this book here in Hollywood, Ready Player One, has got a director attached to it finally. It's a pretty big name.
Yeah, Steven Spielberg. It's just about the biggest you can get.
Yeah, I mean it's good too because this is the kind of movie that you're kind of like, how are they going to do this?
Well, and I guess for all the 80s pop culture references, he's the perfect director.
Yeah, I mean, for those of you who don't know, this is a book about a massive multiplayer online game like World of Warcraft. But instead of having just one world, it's like every world from every fantasy, sci-fi, pop culture type.
Yeah, any fictional property you could think of would be involved.
Is in this game. And the guy who creates it passes away and leaves an Easter egg hunt in the game to give away his fortune. Not just his fortune, but his estate. So not just his money, but
the ownership of the game.
The ownership of the game.
His Ferraris and his hookers.
Yeah, the guy who was in the company that's involved in the original production of the game is trying to get control of it, so they're hiring professional gamers to go out and try and find these things so that they can get control of the game.
Yeah.
So
I haven't read the book, but I've read like some reviews about it online, and a lot of people compare it to Willy Wonka or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
That's a really good analogy. It is like that, except for like he's not alive.
Yeah.
Well, he's kind of.
What is he digitized?
I'm not going to give any spoilers.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I mean it's just really well told. It's a fun book to read. Very geeky, very full of everything we grew up with.
Yeah.
Even Zork, which is like an old text adventure game, has a world in this game. So, it's fun to read through that and go, I remember this. I remember that. But it's also kind of a how the hell could you possibly turn this into a movie? Because there's so many licensing issues that you got to deal with.
Yeah.
And there's so much story that you have to flip through.
I don't know. I guess I would say that if the book is as popular as it seems to be, so it's strange that this is the first time it's coming across my radar. But if it's as popular as it seems to be, it might not be that hard to talk those people into licensing out their properties. I mean, it's free advertisement for shit that hasn't been popular in 30 years.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, some of it, but then there's like Nintendo type stuff and stuff like that, Hyrule. But
yeah, I still think Nintendo would want to be on board with it just for advertising.
Yeah.
Because, it sounds like it's going to be a 90-minute advert for everything.
Yeah. Oh, it's just... Or the other route they could go is they could just not worry about the individual licenses as much as they are worried about the story and actually just tell the story.
Yeah, I guess, but I don't know, it sounds to me like those properties are pretty integral to the tone of the story.
Yeah. But any way you go about it, having somebody like Spielberg attached is definitely a step in the direction you want to go.
Oh, absolutely.
While some of his big licensed production stuff hasn't been great, Transformers, it'll be good to see this world come to life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. And I expect that once I get through reading the book, it's gonna be even more important.
Yeah. Well, once you get done reading the book, maybe we'll talk a little bit more about it.
Yeah,
if you feel up to it.
Sure. Okay. So, in interesting Hollywood news, first of all, we've got the first picture of Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, and he looks really good. He looks really intense.
Yeah, I still worry about his acting ability a little bit, but but at least
what have you seen him in besides Zombieland?
There was the theme park movie with Kristen Stewart. There was
okay.
Social Networking. And Social Networking is probably his best acting job.
Yeah,
but he does awkward kid really well.
But you're not sure if he's gonna
but awkward
be able to pull off genius supervillain.
Don't get me wrong. Fucking Noah Hill. Or Jonah Hill. Jonah Hill on Moneyball ended up being brilliant in it. So,
yeah.
You know, it might just be because he's kind of typecast himself. But,
could be. Well, the look on his face in this picture says to me he's going to at least have a fair chance at delivering.
Mm-hmm.
And frankly, for a lot of the powerhouse cast they're pulling in on Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice, I don't think they would make Lex Luthor out of somebody who couldn't do it.
Yeah. Well, Jesse Eisenberg
I understand
still
your worries, but I've got, more faith in the guys doing that movie to not make that horrible mistake.
Yeah. You're right, the picture does look really cool. He does look very menacing.
Mm-hmm.
And, maybe we'll be pleasantly surprised that he can actually pull off something other than awkward kid.
Yeah.
So yeah, looks cool. There was not the only picture that was released in movie news.
No. Ryan Reynolds dressed as Deadpool, laying on a bearskin rug in front of a fireplace as an homage to Burt Reynolds. Brilliant. Absolutely. The costume looks great. The tone of that picture just screams Deadpool, and not just because Ryan Reynolds is, dressed in a good costume, but just the comic sensibility of that picture really says to me that they're going in the right direction with this, and they're not gonna fuck it up like they did in the Wolverine movie.
Yeah, it definitely seems like the people in charge of this understand the character.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, between this picture and the test footage that they accidentally leaked last summer, it really feels like they got their finger on the pulse of the character and the comedic tone of the book. Mm-hmm. Because it's a great weird action comedy, and I got a lot of confidence. I think they're going to really be able to pull this off.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of question, like how are they going to be able to pull off the PG-13, or are they going to go for a hard R? I don't think they're going to want to go for the hard R because they don't want to lose the audience.
Lose what audience?
Most
of the Deadpool's fans are adults.
Yeah, but there's also a lot of young teens that are going to want to see this movie simply because it's got the Marvel attached to it. I personally think that they could still pull it off by insinuating a lot of the violence.
Don't actually show it on camera.
Yeah, and
you know, maybe shadows
and bleeping them out for the cuss words. And you know, it's Deadpool, so you could even have him play it off and address it to the camera.
Sure, yeah, no, play into the censorship.
Yeah.
And, you know, and break the fourth wall, maybe even break it hard enough that he actually turns to the censor and starts just berating him for bleeping him out.
Hey, you're beeping kidding me.
All I said was beep. It's not like I said beep or beep or beep. You know, and that would be great and play right into it.
And you'd be able to preserve.
The only thing you go further than that is he pulls his mask half up and starts eating a burrito or something.
Yeah, I mean it serves the character and it allows you to continue to have the rating that you want in order to pull in that extra audience.
I could see that. At the same time,
the other option is lower.
I say just go for the hard R.
The other option is lower your budget.
Okay.
Because you're not going to get as many people in to see the movie. So you lower your budget and you try to shoot around that to make up for it. I'm talking, you know, from a studio standpoint.
Right. At the same time, how many irresponsible parents are just going to let their kids go anyway? I mean, it's violence. It's not like it's sex. Sex is the bad thing.
What do you mean you allowed my kid to get in this movie?
Yeah.
Well, you were there when they bought the picture. You didn't tell me anything.
Yeah. No, it's like being at GameStop and watching some fucking 10-year-old fetus try to talk his mom into a copy of GTA 5.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. No, it's fine. Well, it says it's got a mature rating. What does that mean? And I actually watched this conversation once. It's got a mature rating. What does that mean? Oh, it means that there's, you know, like storylines and stuff in it. And I was like, fuck you, dude. Mature rating means that there's nudity. There's a lot of sexual content. There's a lot of cussing. I told this kid's mom straight out exactly what she was getting into. And it felt good. Because
you turned into Tipper Gore.
Those are the no, because those are the same little pricks on GTA Online that I just want to reach through the cord and fucking throttle. I know what that kid was, and I shut his ass down.
How dare you compare me to Tipper Gore, you son of a...
No, it's okay. She's got nice boobs.
Yeah, so anyway.
So do I. That's the wrong hand signal. So you're done talking about this?
Yeah, no. I think Deadpool's going to be a good movie. It got me excited. That picture got me excited for this film.
No, if they stay true to their leaked test footage and this picture, I really feel confident that they've got the feel down for Deadpool, and I think this is going to be an excellent movie. And it's finally a comic book role that Ryan Reynolds can actually do.
Yeah.
Because, Ryan Reynolds is really good at being Ryan Reynolds. Mm-hmm. He's not really broad as an actor. And it's not bad, because people like what he does when he's playing himself. Mm-hmm. And Deadpool, it is very much a character that just leads right into Ryan Reynolds' wheelhouse. Mm-hmm. So I have absolutely no problem with him being involved here, you know. And that despite the Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Which, again, Hal Jordan, not the character for Ryan Reynolds to be playing.
This is my I just saw Green Lantern recently sad face.
And in further movie news, this week they released the Bond Spectre trailer online, and that was really cool.
Yeah. Bond movies have definitely stepped away from where they were 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
They've stepped away from the campiness. Bond. The actor's name.
Which one? The new
The
one?
new one.
Daniel Craig?
Daniel Craig. Daniel Craig has been really, really cool.
Yeah. Well, he's much more intense, much more of an action hero than a lot of the previous Bonds have been. So many of the other Bond movies have been about how he's dapper and clever and suave and shit. And Daniel Craig's Bond is just a fucking badass.
Yeah, he's still got the dapper and suaveness to him.
No, but
at least
beat
he's
the
trying to
dog
work
shit
into
out
it.
of a motherfucker with his bare hands.
But
man.
yeah, I mean, he's definitely a step away from the campiness, and the movies have been really good.
For the most part.
Yeah, with the exception of maybe Quantum of Solstice.
Quantum of Solace.
Which fell short. Not as short as some previous Bonds have, but it still wasn't. It wasn't as entertaining.
Right, yeah. No, because you remember Bond in the early '90s when like the Cold War ended and they didn't know what the fuck to do with him.
Yeah.
But they still wanted to make Bond movies, so they're like, well, perhaps he got fired from Her Majesty's Secret Service and he'll be able to defeat the bad guy with a Zippo.
Yeah, Daniel Craig
Zippo. Sorry, that was just an awful fucking movie.
Daniel Craig is like my favorite overall Bond.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
I still like Pierce Brosnan better as a James Bond, but his movies were terrible.
No, I like Daniel Craig better. I mean, I'm not saying I didn't like Pierce Brosnan, but Daniel Craig is more of the Bond that I want to see.
Whereas Pierce Brosnan was just Remington Steele.
Yeah. I mean, he was good, but I think I only liked one of the Pierce Brosnan Bond movies.
Yeah, GoldenEye.
Yeah, GoldenEye was really good, but the rest of it was just meh.
Yeah, just terrible. But yeah, I mean, the way this, as long as it doesn't do the Star Trek thing where every other movie it comes out with sucks, this should be a good
Right.
a good follow up to
Right. Skyfall.
Skyfall. I almost said Skyrim. I did that the entire time the movie was out. I was like, because Skyfall and Skyrim both came out kind of at the same time, and everybody was talking about Skyfall and Skyrim, so it was like really easy to get them confused.
All right, you poor thing.
I know. I'm just easily confused.
But yeah, great trailer. Go to YouTube and check it out. Definitely, I think this movie's gonna be worth seeing.
Yeah, I love Spectre. They were like really cool bad guys, so that should make this a really cool.
Yeah, well, I like a lot of how they're taking the Daniel Craig version of Bond kind of back to the '60s.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's kind of returning to origins, and that's
retracing its routes. And,
and
its roots.
And that's really cool because there was a lot of good stuff, you know, back in the Ian Fleming days.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty hyped for this.
Yeah, it looks really good. Love Skyfall. Love Casino Royale.
Yeah.
Quantum of Solace wasn't that great, but as long as they continue going forward and creating really good storylines and keeping him very, I like the dark grittiness of it.
Yeah.
A
lot of Bond now just feels more believable than it has been for a long time.
More real world.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see what they do with Spectre. It'll be interesting to see just how twisted the that organization gets.
Yeah.
And the trailer did a good job of kind of painting the picture of it without actually giving anything away. So, yeah, really looking forward to it.
All right, great. So save up your pennies because that one's coming along with all the other stuff we got to see this year.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
But we can get into all that later. So for this week, I'm Mike. This is Derek. Fuck off.
Doodles.
I mean, we love you. Please come back next week. But boom!
So, Ready Player One has a director attached to it.
Really?
Yeah,
Who is it?
it's got a big name. It's Steven something.
Is it a Jew?
Yeah, I think it is. Something Berg, Spielberg. Spielberg. It was Steven Spielberg.
Is there not Silverberg? Or
I
Goldberg?
was like, how's this movie gonna do? How's
Platinumberg?
this movie gonna do?
Diamondberg?
Miss Spielberg.
Rubyberg?
Well, maybe.
Cubic Zirconiaberg? Bergyberg?
Berg.
Bergy. Alright, let's quit fucking around and say it straight.
All right.
Lion face, lemon face.
You did it backwards, but
Wait, Ted, I don't care. It's fucked up. Alright.
Ready Player One has a director attached to it finally, and it's good news. It's a big name,
It's a long name.
Spielberg.
Steven Juberg. Sorry. I like the Jewish people. I often claim I am Jewish. Please
Oy
don't
vey.
think that was anti-Semitic. It was just my version of funny, which I may have to apologize for.
So anyway, Ready Player One has a new director attached to it finally.
Really? Who is it?
It's Steven Juberg.
All right. I'm going to go get my yarmulke right now.
I'm sorry.
Yarmulke. I get my yarmulke.
I hate no one except for the entirety of humanity. No, interesting movie news. Ready Player One, which is a big book, being turned into a movie, has a director attached to it. It's a pretty big name.
Steven Spielberg.
We're going to have to shoot this 17 times.
Why? That was good. That wasn't anti-Semitic at all. It was just a little Germany. I didn't even mention the Jewish thing. A lot of kids probably don't even know who Nazis were.
Yeah, these days, they just know skinheads.
Yeah, if they don't know what the Soviet Union was, they're not going to remember the Holocaust. Come on.
That is still mind-blowing to me.
It really is. It's completely fucked. But anyway, do you want to start over or just continue with this?
Yep. Let's do it again.
Wait.
So,
Wait, before you start, you know I'm going to string all of these misfires together, right? And just put it at the end of the episode. Yeah.
It's our MO.
Yeah. Gotta capture that shit.
So, Deadpool got a new picture or something, eh? You hear about this? It's so cool shit! Cool shit!
Okay, at first I thought you were doing Jay Leno, and then you went psychotic. I'm not even sure what the hell that was supposed to be.